everybody, Brian from Movieverse here, and today Greg has joined me for another episode of Movieverse Movie News Roundup. So first we will talk about Marvel Studios, and before we talk about their specific news, I want to announce that this week is Avengers Age of Ultron week for us. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday we'll be releasing videos following the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 1, Phase 2, and even a discussion video leading into Avengers Age of Ultron. So make sure that you subscribe to our channel and come back on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to see those videos and get ready for Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start talking about some movie news. Spider-Man shortlist has been revealed to us. There's 5 actors that are on it. Nat Wolff from The Fault in Our Stars, Asa Butterfield from Ender's Game, Tom Holland in The Heart of the Sea, Timothy Chalamet, Interstellar, and Liam James The Killing. Now, I only know a couple of these actors. I did see Ender's Game. Asa Butterfield did a really good job in that movie, but the other actors I'm not really sure about.
And I've seen Fault in Our Stars, so Tom Wolfe, like, all these people are good actors.
Yeah.
But, at least on paper anyways,
yeah,
none of them seem like they are Spider-Man.
And also, they're all very young actors as well.
Yeah, they're all listed between the ages of 18 and 20.
Yeah, and I'm still hoping for Logan Lerman to be cast as Spider-Man. I'm hoping that this is like a bait and switch, so they get out this... Because this happened before, where we see like this short list of actors that has been released, and then the actor who actually ends up playing that character is somebody completely different and not even on
As
that
Marvel
list.
has done such a great job of casting people that you wouldn't necessarily think are those people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, seeing that list, it doesn't really do anything one way or the other to me.
Yeah.
Like, because these are all good actors. They all could be Spider-Man. They play that character well.
Yeah.
But just on paper, like on the surface, they haven't been Spider-Man-like characters before.
Yeah, regardless of if it is anybody on this list or somebody who's not on the list but around the same age, that's going to be a different dynamic that we see in an Avengers movie. You've never seen a 15-year-old or even like an 18-year-old go toe-to-toe with Iron Man or banter back and forth, because Spider-Man is a pretty funny character. Peter Parker, he's very joking in the comics. So it'd be interesting to see that type of personality at that young of an age against somebody like Robert Downey Jr., who he's really quippy and has all these one-liners and stuff like that.
And given the other recent news about Robert Downey Jr. and Tony Stark's involvement in the Spider-Man standalone movie,
supposedly.
Let's say, yeah. So it's you definitely see that kind of there, at least on the surface, there should be some pretty good back and forth between those two people.
Yeah, and another thing that I want to say about Marvel before we move on is they have shown so many TV spots. I mean, I haven't watched any TV spots since TV spot number 2, and then they had trailer number 3, and then that was it. But that's been at least a month and a half ago, and I haven't watched anything. And I'm glad, because it's just like leaves something for the actual movie.
Yeah, because each of those TV spots somewhat focuses on one specific character.
Yeah, it's it's showing, it is showing too much. And for me, I know that when I was really excited for Iron Man 3, and I did all this research on it, and I was getting all into it, and that was probably my least favorite movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because I knew so much about it going in that by the time I watched the movie, there was no surprises for me. So from that, I learned, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not watching any more of these Avengers trailers or TV spots or featurettes or anything. I was done with it a month and a half ago, and I'm not looking at any of the comments for the next week. So I'll get back to you guys after Thursday, because I'm going to see the movie Thursday. So look out for a movie review for that coming out probably Friday, with a spoilers discussion coming out later in the week. So keep an eye out for those two things. Again, subscribe to our channel to make sure you don't miss that video. So anyways, we'll go ahead and move on. There's this little thing last week. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Star Wars Celebration. Have you heard of that?
It sounds familiar, but I don't know what it is.
It's like Comic-Con, except for it's like this little tiny, it's like 10 people, I think, that show up to So Star Wars Celebration was last week, and they had a panel for Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and they showed some more concept art. They showed a new trailer. What was your thoughts on that new trailer?
It's a great...
It's a teaser trailer. It's not a full trailer, it's a teaser trailer.
So, to me, the takeaway from that trailer was it's J.J. Abrams going out to the fans and being say, hey, look what we're doing with Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's really no indication of the plot.
Nope.
There's no indication of how the characters interact with each other other than Han and Chewie at the very end.
Yeah.
Because we know what Han and Chewie are like.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of just all, hey, here's a Star Destroyer, here's TIE Fighter, here's an X-Wing.
Dude, that Star Destroyer, though, that was like in the sand, that was so awesome.
So I mean, it's very much the, look, we are making it look as much like Star Wars as possible.
Yeah, I think, there are people who do like the prequels. When the prequels came out, I was younger, so I enjoyed them for the entertainment factor. But then when you go back and watch them, they're not as good as the originals, right?
Right.
So I think what they're trying to accomplish with that second teaser trailer was just say, hey, here's the feel of this movie. Doesn't it feel a lot like the originals? Which it does, especially with that music from John Williams.
The practical effects.
The practical effects, which we'll talk about in a minute as well. It definitely tells you, it's like, here's Star Wars. Like, here it is again. And, it gets everybody excited. There's grown men crying because they're so, like, crying tears of joy because Star Wars is back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the trailer. Like I told you, I got the 6-movie Blu-ray set of Star Wars yesterday for my birthday. So last night I watched A New Hope, and there's always those old nostalgic movies that you're just like, okay, is it as good as I remember it, or is it just good in my memory from the nostalgia? And I watched it last night, and it's still great. It's still a great movie.
Yeah, because Star Wars actually falls under both cases of that. You have the old movies, which hold up really well over all the years, and then again, I was a younger person, early teenager when the prequels came out.
Yeah.
So it's like, I enjoyed the spectacle of it.
Yeah.
But now looking back, yes, those don't really hold up as well as the original ones do.
Yeah. Yeah, and, it's like the original cast coming back, passing the torch to the new actors and actresses. It's great because you get that nostalgia factor from this new movie because you have the original actors, but at the same time, this movie...
It is going to tell its own story.
Yeah, this movie needs to tell its own story. It needs to... I would say at some point it needs to let go of the original cast. It's nice to have them to pass off the torch, but at the same time, it needs to be its own story.
But at the same time, the biggest thing they could do to hurt themselves would be to wipe out all of the old cast all at once.
Oh, I'm not saying to kill them. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But still, like,
you can't just hold on to them to make your movie.
But
good.
you
need
can't
to make the movie good, regardless of whether or not they're in it.
But I'm saying you don't write them out all at once.
Yeah.
Kind of like, okay, here's Leia's end scene, here's Han's end scene, so
they're all in the Millennium Falcon and it crashes.
That would probably be the worst thing they could do.
All right, so moving on, still talking about Star Wars. All right, so it's been officially announced that the Star Wars spin-off films are going to be called anthology films. So Rogue One is officially titled Star Wars Anthology Rogue One. And I didn't get to watch the stream. I'm not sure if it was streaming live or not.
I don't believe it was.
I did watch the Force Awakens panel, but I did not watch the Rogue One. There was concept art shown. There was some little test footage that I think was shown as well. I haven't seen any of that yet because it hasn't been released to the public. But what we did learn is it's been confirmed that this movie will be following the plans of the Death Star being stolen.
Yeah.
So that's prior to Episode 4.
Yeah, that almost throwaway line where it said many Bothans died to bring this to us.
Yeah, and the question I have for you is, do you think we will see Vader in Episode 4? Because it's around that time period. It's in Vader's prime. Do you think that we'll see him?
I think you will see him. I do not think he will be the big bad guy of the movie, though. What
I want to see, these people running through this ship, right? and then Vader just shows up, and it's kind of like, it'd be really interesting if they made Vader like the Winter Soldier for Captain America 2, where they were doing all this other stuff, but then the Winter Soldier would just show up and wreak havoc and like cause them problems. You know what I mean? That might be a cool way that they could do it.
But yeah, I mean, it would be, but like I would not say that Vader would be the principal villain of that movie.
All right, yeah, and let's go ahead and move on from that. So that's all the Star Wars news that we have. But I do want to talk about something that happened at the Force Awakens panel. They brought out R2-D2, and they brought out also BB-8, the new droid, right?
Yeah.
So people thought that he was CGI in that first trailer that we got because he was sitting there
or
spinning.
like at least partially PG or CGI.
Yeah, but what we find out is that he comes out on stage and he's rolling, and his head's there, and there's
the head is basically floating on top of the ball.
How did they do that? Like,
I mean, everything I've heard, it's magnets and gyroscopes.
That's crazy. That's awesome that they're still pushing technology for Star Wars movies. That's crazy. That's awesome. And like I said, since the original cast is back for this movie, they had Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill on stage. They had the guy who played C-3PO. I can't think of his name right now.
Anthony Daniels?
Yeah, that's right. So they were all on stage. So that was cool. They brought out John Boyega and Oscar Isaac and Daisy Ridley. They were all there. They all talked a little bit about the movie without giving us any information whatsoever that we didn't already know.
Classic J.J. Abrams.
The only thing that we really learned from the panel was that desert planet is not Tatooine, it's Jakku.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's the Star Wars panel that I saw with the new trailer and some of those things. So we're going to go ahead and move on from Star Wars, and now we're going to talk about DC, because last weekend there was a whole ton of trailers that got dropped. Now, DC's trailer got leaked first, and then Zack Snyder released it on Twitter. Their original plan was to have an IMAX event Monday night, which I actually was able to go to. But that was the original plan, was they were going to release their trailer then for the general public, right?
Yeah.
So we went to the IMAX event, and Jason went with me, and we actually got free tickets to see Batman vs. Superman next year a week early. Which, I mean, that was cool.
Yeah.
But they didn't show anything more than what we'd already seen from the trailer, except for a little 4-second clip with Batman and Superman running towards each other, and right before they get to each other, it cuts to black. So, you saw the trailer that was put online,
yes.
Right? What did you think about that trailer?
It sets up a very good premise. Like, it's kind of always one of those things, like, you always, like, that dichotomy of, are these superheroes really good guys?
Yeah.
Or are they bad guys? Like, yes, they are, taking care of evil, but they're doing about it by going outside the law, like outside the system to do it.
Yeah, I think the big thing that I took away from it was there's two sides of people with thoughts on Superman. There's the one side who's like, he's an alien, he shouldn't be here, he just destroyed this whole entire city. And then there's this whole completely other side where people are worshiping him as a god. Which, I mean, practically he is, but there's people are worshiping him as a god. You see it in the trailer, there's people, like, reaching their hands out to touch him. He's up in the air, and there's people, they make him out to be this very godlike figure in the trailer. But then you also see the other side of that, where people don't like him, they write false god on his statue.
Yeah.
But there's people bowing down to him, like there were soldiers with patches that had the Superman symbol on it that were bowing down to him. It was very, very confusing about where Superman is in this story. I don't think that he would be the type of guy who'd be like, oh yeah, I'm fine with that. He's probably kind of embarrassed, like, hey, stop.
Wait, because, I mean, granted, I know, based on additional news stories, that they've said that this is not the sequel to Man of Steel.
Yeah. So this is to set up the Justice League.
Yeah, so even though it's the same Superman, it's not the sequel. So, but still, kind of in that same vein, though, yes, he saved the world from being destroyed.
Yeah.
But at the result of 2 cities or 2 areas just being utterly annihilated.
Yeah, and people can make the decision.
And then he just leaves.
And and people can also make the argument that it would have never happened if he was not on Earth.
Yeah.
So, that's a very interesting concept, but also we get our first look, live action look at Batman, right?
Yeah.
We see Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne, where he looks very menacing. He's staring.
He looks very Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he does. He looks very Bruce Wayne. I was really impressed, and it wasn't like anything crazy. He was just sitting there staring with a straight face. I'm just like, yeah,
somebody's gonna get it.
That's Bruce Wayne, and you can actually see him as Bruce Wayne with all the like anger that he has. Like you can see the trembling in his face when he So it's a really good look at Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne. We get a good first look at him in his Batman suit.
Yeah.
Right, where he's getting up out of that rubble or whatever that is. And then we also get a look at Batman in his mechanized suit. What do you think about that part of the trailer?
It looks impressive. It looks daunting.
Yeah.
I would like to see it actually in action.
Yeah.
You just see him more of a still shot.
Yeah.
Or maybe a little bit of walking, but that's really.
Yeah, and you hear a voice at the end of that trailer, and it says, "Do you bleed? You will." I don't think that's Batman. Now, I have this crazy theory. I'm all about crazy theories or trying to figure out what is being hidden in these trailers. I think that voice could be Jesse Eisenberg. I'm thinking that maybe Jesse Eisenberg and Ben Affleck, their characters, Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne, they work together to find some type of way to take care of Superman, because they both lost a lot of money. We've seen the Lex Luthor truck. We've seen the Wayne Enterprises satellite that got destroyed in Man of Steel.
Yeah.
So they both lost a lot of money. So it would make sense for them to come to some type of agreement to see what they can do about this alien that's come to planet Earth. But I think they have it for two different reasons. I think just Lex Luthor wants it to kill Superman, and I think Batman wants something just in case he needs it for Superman.
Yeah.
So I feel like that scene that we see where Batman's in his mechanized suit and Superman's above him, I think that is near the beginning of the movie. That's just my theory. And I think that later in the movie, Jesse Eisenberg has a mech suit of his own, like you see in
various the
Injustice,
animated movies and that. Yeah.
And in Injustice, the video game, like that kind of thing. He's had a mechanized suit in animated movies too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where we're going, because if you look at Batman in his mech suit, it's not covering his mouth. So to me, it wouldn't make sense for his voice to be that modulated.
Yeah.
Like if his mouth was covered, it'd make more sense.
Yeah.
But so that's my theories on that.
And I got seeing the posters and that you brought back from the event and that in that scene. It kind of reminds me of the new the trailers for the new Halo game, where Master Chief is both a hero and the villain.
Yeah.
And I was
kind of playing with those both sides.
Yeah, I wonder if kind of essentially we saw the Batman trailer.
Yeah.
And wonder if they'll make a Superman trailer that's basically the same thing depicting Batman.
Yeah. All right, I want to make one more point before we move on from the DC news into another piece of DC news. Is the posters that I got from that IMAX event, they are very reminiscent to me of Batman, Superman, Public Enemies, the animated movie. Like the color schemes, it looks like they're actually posters that are plastered against a wall. They have the little creases in them, like the little air pockets. The color scheme in that really reminds me of Public Enemy. So I wonder if they're going to, have, like you said, where these superheroes, even Batman, he's kind of looked at as a nuisance in his city, taking care of all these criminals and everything else, but nobody's ever seen him. He's more of a story. And then you have Superman, who basically leveled a whole entire city trying to beat General Zod. So I think that's super interesting about those two posters that I got. Yeah, the creases, the color scheme, I love them. They're pretty awesome. But to move on from that, the first official image of Jared Leto as the Joker was released.
Full costume, or full makeup at least, not say full costume.
I hope that's not his full costume, because he's not wearing anything.
But it's okay, because it's Jared Leto.
Yeah, so it shows he has the really bright green hair. He has tattoos all over his body. He has a grill. He has gold, silver caps on his teeth. What are your thoughts about this look?
It feels more reminiscent of the Batman animated series look, with a few tweaks on it. more of the as more of like almost a cartoonish looking Joker as opposed to the like quote unquote realistic Joker that Heath Ledger did.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, there are several differences from the anime one, like the whole grill, all the tattoos, like that stuff, like kind of more of a like modernizing it in a sense.
I mentioned to you earlier about the one. I love this look for the Joker. I think he looks incredibly insane. The only thing that worries me is that he kind of looks like a thug. He has that J tattooed right under his eye. So it reminds me of like what a thug would look like. And you've mentioned that he, in Suicide Squad movie, he's going to probably spend most of his time in a jail cell.
And that's what the leading rumors and like leaks have said is the Joker more or less stays behind in the jail cells and is essentially the kind of exposition character.
Yeah, and like I said, I love the look of Jared Leto as the Joker right now. Depending on how they write the character,
but also that purple suit will make or break him as well.
Yeah, I wish they would have released that image first. I know that they probably wanted to wait to tease that. They're
probably also still tweaking that and getting it just right.
But as far as Jared Leto and his ability to play a psychotic character, I have complete faith in him. I think he's a great actor. He won the Oscar last year for Dallas Buyers Club as Best Supporting Actor. So he has the acting chops, and in that picture, he looks insane.
And also, too, like there have been like the YouTube videos of fans at the 30 Seconds to Mars concerts that they've been doing since he got. Yeah. And he is essentially playing in the band as that Joker character. There are several videos where, like, basically there are people heckling him.
Yeah.
And he is heckling them back as the Joker.
Are you sure?
Yeah, like that kind of, at least in like that tone, like the kind of the cadence and how he speaks.
Okay, I haven't seen those videos, but that'd be interesting to see. There's some things that people have been complaining about on the internet about this new look for the Joker, one of which is the teeth. Looks like he has a grill on his teeth. I don't mind that. I actually like that because that just means that Batman has been pummeling him in the face for like a decade, probably. And all of his teeth are broken, and he just, he needs to do something so he actually can, chew some food or whatever.
Speak coherently.
Yeah. So I don't have a problem with that. That's actually pretty realistic because if Batman's punching you in the face over and over and over again.
Especially given the costume we just saw
of Batman
having.
So I don't mind that at all. I'm loving this look as for Jared Leto.
I am as well. I think it's a great combination of actor and makeup.
Yeah, and people are complaining about the tattoos, but the tattoos are symbolizing of things that are in the comics. Like the ha ha ha, like all the laughter on his arms and stuff like that. That comes from the comics, like some art that comes from the comics. You have the smile on his forearm. That's very much from the comics. So I don't really mind all this stuff. They're kind of giving like a nod to the comics, but I think that for most of the movie, we will probably see him with a shirt on or something.
In that purple suit.
Yeah. Hopefully, as soon as he breaks out of Arkham Asylum, he will, have the suit, and people are just going to forget about it.
Yeah.
So, great image for Jared Leto.
The tattoos, are pretty much seem like they're all just fan service.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to move on from DC and we're going to go to Fox. So, like I said before, there were so many trailers that got dropped last weekend, and Fantastic Four was another one of those trailers that got leaked and then dropped. So, what was your thoughts on this new trailer?
I thought it was a better trailer than the first one. Like, it gave a much more sense of what's going on.
Yeah.
However, I didn't really feel like it really explained much of the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Or like what's really gonna happen. Like, other than it's an origin story again.
Yeah. I mean, I had a couple problems with this trailer. I felt like in the beginning of the trailer, there's being funny and then there's trying to be funny. And I felt like this trailer was trying too hard to be funny to me. I guess maybe I'm just kind of used to Marvel and their expertise of mixing action with comedy. Maybe they're just so good at it that seeing another studio trying to do it makes it like a little bit like lesser to me. one other thing that I kind of took away from this trailer, well, first off, the Thing looks awesome. They had that scene where he jumps out of the plane and he's falling through the sky and he lands and the car flips over or whatever. So there was some very cool scenes in this trailer. I'm not saying that, but it felt like the first half of the trailer they were trying to be funny, and the second half of the trailer they were trying to be very serious. I just didn't see that mixture very well.
I mean, it does somewhat feel like it's them trying to say hey, we're a Marvel movie too.
Yeah.
Don't forget about us.
Yeah, it seemed like they were trying too hard to be a Marvel type of movie.
We're Marvel. We have humor. We have action. We have good-looking people.
Yeah, which I don't blame them for trying to have some humor in their movie, but also at the same time, their serious moments seem like they're being more serious. So I feel like they're trying to be more serious, but more comical. You know what I mean? So it was weird for me.
They will swing a little too far on both extremes.
Yeah, exactly. So, it was a good trailer. They have really cool visuals. The characters look great. Johnny Storm flaming up looks awesome. Reed Richards and his stretching ability, you saw a little bit there where he was on the table and his arm was kind of stretching a little bit. It looked really cool. So overall, the trailer was okay. It didn't make me any more excited for the movie than I already. I'm not really that excited for it, but it didn't make me any more excited.
But it didn't do anything to dampen it either.
No, it didn't make me say, okay, I'm not going to see that movie. It just makes me kind of wary of it because I'm confused now on what type of movie they're trying to make.
I feel the same way I did before I saw the trailer as I did afterwards.
Well, because I've been hearing things about, they're doing this sci-fi horror superhero movie, which would be great. That'd be a really interesting movie to see, especially
to take a new take on a superhero movie.
Yeah, especially with Doctor Strange coming out next year. It's supposed to be this sci-fi horror type film. So it'd be interesting to see that, but at the same time, like I said, it's giving me two different sides of a coin that doesn't really add up to me. So that's my thoughts on that trailer. And before we end this movie news roundup video, I just want to talk about a general topic. And this week, I want to talk about all of this leaked footage and imagery that's been coming out the past few weeks. I just feel like, on one side, as a fan, it's exciting to see this new footage and these new images. But at the same time, it's ruining what the studios intend for us.
Yeah.
For instance, like I said, I went to that IMAX event for the Batman vs. Superman trailer. And I kind of left there that was it? And I don't blame the studio for that at all. If the trailer had not leaked before and it had debuted at the theater like it was supposed to, that experience would have been amazing.
Yeah.
We got posters. We got to see the very brand new Batman vs. Superman trailer. And we also got the 4 seconds that nobody's seeing online. Plus, we got tickets to see the movie a week early for free. That would have been crazy if I had not already seen the trailer. Because all they showed us at that theater, they showed the trailer 2 times, and that was it.
Yeah.
So for me, it was kind of a letdown, but not because of the studio. It was because of the trailer being leaked beforehand. So what's your thoughts on the fact that these trailers and imagery keep getting leaked? Like the Avengers Age of Ultron trailer. That was supposed to debut with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but then somebody leaked it, so they had to release it early. Yeah. What's your thoughts on this?
Honestly, as a fan, I hate it. Because it does you're kind of ruining the way it's intended to be.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it does especially some of the stuff you know everything. You almost have a Dark Knight Rises situation where there were leaked photos and that from the set every single day, and I feel like that really sour people's expectations on that movie.
Well, everybody knew that Talia al Ghul was in the movie because you saw that woman in robes, and it was like, okay, well, so we know that she's bad, and throughout the whole entire movie, she's made out to be this, friend of Bruce Wayne, but you're like, okay, but I know that she's going to turn bad.
So it's kind of also, I feel like it's such a great move on DC's part to push or to release Batman vs. Superman next year, when all the fervor has died from all these leaks and that, so people start kind of forgetting about that. It'll be a whole new movie when it comes out.
Yeah, and to touch back on that thing, I know this is a little off topic, But I just want to point out that, there's these rumors going around that Marvel isn't going to be at Comic-Con in full force, which I think would be a missed opportunity for them because they have Civil War coming out next year.
Ant-Man will just come out.
But Civil War will actually come out next year before Comic-Con. So unless Marvel plans on doing their own thing again this year, which they did last year, which would be cool,
yeah.
I feel like it's a missed opportunity. But on the flip side of that, if DC does not take advantage of this and completely own Comic-Con with not only Batman vs Superman but also Suicide Squad, then they missed out on an even bigger opportunity than Marvel. If the big boys aren't going to be home, then they better get to plan because they need to get these movies rolling. We have Man of Steel. That's the only movie so far in this DC cinematic universe.
Yeah, and also at the same time, like, all these leaks kind of then also lead to all these extremely early announcements.
Yeah.
Because Friday, I believe, Marvel announced that they teamed up with Telltale Games to make a game to come out in 2017.
I'm so excited for that.
Like, I mean, yes, you're excited, but at the same time, it's like, you don't need to know about that 2 years in advance.
Yeah, I agree with that. But and that actually plays into Comic-Con. All this footage from Comic-Con, you know what I mean? So studios like WB, they had that footage from Comic-Con of the Batman vs Superman trailer, and that leaked. So maybe Marvel's okay, well, we'll just host our own event and we'll control it.
And also at the same time too, that by announcing all of these things so early,
yeah,
it almost kind of feeds that leak expectation because
they're like, if we leak it, then we'll get all this stuff.
Where's the we like, even as fans, like on the fan side, you're like, oh, they announced this thing I'm so excited for. Where's the information about it?
Yeah.
And that leads then to like interns and like new hires to go and leak that stuff.
Do you think that might be why Marvel decided to host that event on a random Tuesday, as they call it, and basically release their full schedule through 2020? I know DC did it at like a shareholders meeting, but Marvel actually did it, invited the fans, made this big to-do about it, which was really cool. I love that. But I feel like they could do that and make their own Hall H type thing. And it'd be, Marvel celebration, like Star Wars celebration.
You see that happening in video games as well. Like, E3 used to be the Comic-Con of video games. Like, that's where all of the news happened. But more and more, like, all of the video game news is being announced on their own, like, private events.
Yeah.
Again, so they can control the message and, control what information is out there. So I think absolutely Marvel is going the route. I mean, again, they're owned by Disney. Disney has their own event every year.
Yeah, Disney. Yeah.
So, I imagine it's probably only maybe a year or so until DC does the same thing.
Yeah. Bottom line about this topic is we need to stop perpetuating this leaked information. Studios want to give us the information when they are ready to, and I think that it's taking away from the fan experience, like the IMAX event that DC was trying to hold. It's taking away from those types of experiences where instead of watching that trailer at home by yourself, you can go to the theater and watch it with a full theater of people, just like you would a movie.
And people are just excited as you are.
Yeah, and it's not like they charged people to go see that trailer. They gave out free tickets for anybody who wanted them.
Yeah.
So stop leaking this information. If you see leaked information, don't comment on it. Don't share it. Just let it go. Let yourself be surprised when you go to those special events and those special things that are meant for you to see this information. Is there anything else that you want to add to that?
No, I mean, that's exactly the same way I feel. You're by leaking and like sharing all of this leaked stuff, you're ruining the experience for yourself.
Yeah. And we do trailer reaction videos on this channel. I will never react to a leaked trailer. I will never talk about leaked news from this point forward. To me, unless the studio comes out and says it, I will not talk about it. And from there, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to bring this Movieverse Movie News Roundup video to a close. Right before we do, though, if you guys have noticed, we have a brand new, shiny, pretty logo. So click the thumbs up button if you like this video. Comment down below what you think about any of this news, our new logo. And as always, if you like what you see here on Movieverse, subscribe to Movieverse and we'll catch you guys on the next video.